Welcome to Movies in the Making. In today's episode, we are going to be looking at the 1985 adventure comedy film The Goonies, released by Warner Bros. And directed by Richard Donner. Here, we will dive deep into the story of the production of this film to celebrate its 40th year anniversary. Nothing brings the family together like an adventure, and this film proves it. Not only because it is an adventure film, but because making it behind the scenes was its own adventure. If you'd like to hear about how more films were done behind the scenes, please like down below and subscribe to this channel for more videos. Now, hey you guys! Sit back and enjoy the show. You are all in for a cavernous ride. Steven Spielberg came up with the idea for The Goonies while working on the film The Color Purple, Warner Bros. 1985, just like The Goonies. During filming of the period drama starring Whoopi Goldberg and Oprah Winfrey, Spielberg began pondering a simple yet intriguing question. What do children do to entertain themselves on rainy days? This curiosity about kids' imaginative play led him to envision a story about a group of friends embarking on a wild treasure hunt to save their neighborhood, sparking the concept behind a beloved childhood adventure. Although Spielberg did not direct The Goonies, he was deeply involved as an executive producer and helped bring the story to life, which was ultimately written by Chris Columbus, who would later be famous for directing the first two Home Alone films and the first two Harry Potter films, and directed by Richard Donner. This imaginative premise, born from Spielberg's reflection on childhood creativity during quiet moments on a very different film set, laid the foundation for one of the most iconic adventure films for families. Richard Donner became the director of The Goonies largely by surprise, thanks to Spielberg. Spielberg believed Donner, despite his own admitted discomfort with children, had the right spirit for the job, saying he was as big a kid as Spielberg was. Donner was initially baffled by the assignment, unsure why he was chosen to direct a story centered around a group of adventurous kids. The original idea, developed by Chris Columbus, was a whimsical tale sparked by the simple question of what kids do on a rainy day, an idea that quickly evolved into a thrilling pirate treasure hunt. Though hesitant, Donner embraced the challenge, aided by a cast of then mostly inexperienced child actors whose authentic energy and chemistry carried the film. Working on the film proved to be both chaotic and unforgettable for Donner. The young cast lacked discipline, often straying off their marks and causing continuity headaches, but their raw, instinctive performances created something unique and real. Donner grew to love the kids deeply, despite their wild behavior, from pulling pranks on set to splashing Sloth's makeup-covered face with water despite strict warnings. He reflected on the experience with fondness, calling it bliss, and one of the most emotional journeys of his career. By the end of filming, the kids even orchestrated an elaborate prank under Spielberg's guidance to surprise Donner in Hawaii, demonstrating their affection for him. Though he never expected the film to become the enduring classic it is today, Donner cherished the profound bond he formed with the young cast and the joy that the film continues to bring for generations of fans. While the characters and their adventures are fictional, the film's setting in Oregon and its plot about a legendary lost ship are inspired by real history. Specifically, the story draws from the mysterious disappearance of Santo Cristo de Burgos, a 16th century ship that went missing off the Oregon coast in the late 17th century. Although no definitive proof has been found, archaeologists continue to search caves along the coast, hoping to confirm if a piece of timber discovered on the shoreline is part of this long-lost shipwreck. The ship featured in the film is inspired by the Santo Cristo de Burgos, which is thought to have wrecked somewhere near Oregon after disappearing centuries ago. According to experts, the area's caves, which are difficult to access due to tides and rough terrain, remain a key focus for archaeological searches. While the film uses the shipwreck as a basis for the treasure hunt, the real vessel remains undiscovered, adding a layer of mystery that fuels both the film's story and ongoing real-world exploration. Until the ship is found, the legend and adventurous spirit of the Goonies lives on. Josh Brolin revealed that landing his role in the film was far from a smooth path and involved overcoming assumptions of nepotism due to being James Brolin's son. He recalled how, instead of being handed the role, he had to prove himself to casting directors who challenged him to demonstrate real talent. Motivated to be taken seriously, Brolin immersed himself into acting theory, studying figures like Stanislavski and Grotowski, and spent extensive time reading in bookstores. After 6 auditions in total, he eventually won the part, partly because his look fit the character. Despite his intellectual preparation and enthusiasm, when he pitched a symbolic, emotional interpretation of a scene to Spielberg, the producer simply told him to focus on acting and saying the lines. Brolin took the advice in stride and credited the experience as a humbling lesson for his first ever feature role. Before landing the role of Sloth, John Matuszak had already made a name for himself as a professional football player. He played for several teams during his athletic career, including the Kansas City Chiefs and the Houston Oilers. His imposing size and physical presence, shaped by years on the football field, made him a fitting choice to portray the gentle but intimidating Sloth. Transforming Matuszak into Sloth each day was also a time-consuming process. To achieve the ogre-like appearance required for the character, he spent up to 5 hours in the hair and makeup chair daily. The extensive prosthetics and special effects makeup created Sloth's distinctive features, allowing Matuszak to fully embody the beloved, misunderstood character on screen. Many of the background extras were actually crew members or relatives of the cast and crew. For instance, Mav's father was portrayed by a cameraman, and Chuck's mom was portrayed by actor Jeff Cohen's real-life mother. A stuntsman took on the role of the dead FBI agent found in the freezer, while director Donner and one of his assistant directors made brief appearances as police officers who arrive on the beach by ATV in the film's final scenes. The Goonies was primarily filmed in and around Astoria, Oregon, a historic port of town at the mouth of the Columbia River. Many iconic locations from the film can still be found throughout the town, including the famous Goonies house at 368 38th Street and Data's house next door. Visitors can take a self-guided tour to see filming spots such as the Oregon Film Museum, formerly the jailhouse featured in the film, located at 732 Duane Street, and the Flavel House Museum right across the street. Other notable locations include Mouth's House on Skyline Avenue, the Port of Astoria's East Mooring Basin where you can see the docks, and Haystack Rock at Cannon Beach, about an hour south. The forest scenes where the kids ride their bikes were filmed in nearby Ecola State Park, another fan-favorite stop. Astoria continues to be a beloved destination for Goonie fans of all ages. Though the Goonies house is privately owned, the owner allows respectful visitors to stop by for photos, provided they park appropriately and stay courteous. The house was once closed off due to poor visitor behavior, so fans are reminded to treat the property with care. The Oregon Film Museum is a popular follow-up stop, offering film props, photo ops, and souvenirs. For many families, visiting Astoria has become a tradition, with parents who grew up watching the Goonies now sharing the film and its filming locations with their kids. During the filming, director Donner aimed to capture authentic reactions from the young cast by keeping the massive pirate ship prop hidden until the cameras rolled. The surprise work vote had to be reshot after Josh Brolin unintentionally yelled profanity upon seeing it. One original scene that followed featured the kids battling a giant octopus, which was ultimately cut from the film, though it is still referenced when the children are rescued, and a song titled 8 Arms to Hold You was originally intended to accompany it. As for the film's frequent use of mild profanity, specifically the S word and its variations, which appear about 20 times, filmmakers strategically masked the language with background music to avoid a PG-13 rating. For television broadcasts, simply raising the volume of the music was enough to make the words inaudible. In one example, when rocks begin falling beneath the kids, Data censors himself mid-yell, shouting, "Holy sh..." instead of completing the word. After filming The Goonies, Sean Astin was given the worn treasure map prop from the film as a keepsake. In the film, the map is discovered in Mikey's attic and serves as the catalyst for the Goonies' adventure in search of One-Eyed Willie's hidden treasure. However, years later, Astin's mother, actress Patty Duke, mistakenly believed the aged, crumbled map was just trash and threw it away, much to Sean's dismay. Dave Grusin became the composer for the film despite not being the most obvious choice for the job. Primarily known for his jazzy, sophisticated scores in adult dramas like The Graduate, Embassy Pictures, 1967, and Tootsie, Columbia Pictures, 1982, Grusin was stepping into unfamiliar territory with his Spielberg-produced family adventure. However, he rose to the challenge to deliver a rich, adventurous score that perfectly captured the film's spirit. Blending lush orchestral arrangements with contemporary synths, Grusin created a soundtrack filled with recurring motifs and emotional depth. Tracks like Fratelli's Chase, The Goondocks, and Slough and Chunk showcase this range, from suspenseful action to heartfelt themes, and helped elevate the film into a beloved classic. His ability to craft music that respected young audiences while adding complexity and warmth has made the score as iconic as the film itself. Much of the action and adventure music featured in the Goonies was actually recycled from Adventures of Don Juan, Warner Bros. 1948. This musical choice cleverly ties in scenes where Sloth, while chained in the basement, watches old pirate films from the 1940s and 50s and begins to envision himself as one of the heroic figures on screen. The homage comes full circle when, in a pivotal moment, Sloth dramatically slides down the pirate ship's sail, mirroring Errol Flynn's swashbuckling films in the classic film he admired. As the first of June 2025, The Goonies has a 77% critic scoring on Rotten Tomatoes, a 60 out of 100 critic score on Metacritic, a 7.7 rating on IMDb, and a 3.8 rating on Letterboxd. The film's budget was $19 million and it grossed about $61 million following its initial release date of the 7th of June 1985. And that wraps up our deep dive to the making of The Goonies. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to stay up to date on all things movies in the making. Let us know in the comments what you think of The Goonies, or if you have any favorite moments from that film we did not touch upon, or what films you would like to hear covered by this channel. Also be sure to check out our community page, where we announce what films to be talked about by this channel each week. New posts arrive every Friday, or Saturday, if we forget to post on Friday. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time on Movies in the Making, where we'll be talking about How to Train Your Dragon, Paramount Pictures 2010, and more films to follow along the way. Tune in for more Movies in the Making as we uncover the stories behind cinema's most unforgettable films. This has been Jason Scotchmer, film enthusiast and passionate about the arts.